Hello, good folks of Iron Man Buildyland. It's that time of the month again. It's Iron Man time. So, while I delve down here for my my screwdriver and the arm that we are continuing to build, so we're on the left arm and we are building up the left arm, essentially, and much the same as we did the right one. And we have got shoulder paddy bits, we've got bicep bits, we have got fingers, and we've got episodes 23, 24, 25 and 26. So without further ado, let's get started on episode 25. Episode 25 comes with the bicep piece, the springy shoulder bit, a spring and a bar. This is fairly straightforward. The bicep piece simply snaps into place like so. And we then need to attach this so that it hinges on this side, and the shoulder pad, of course, attaches to it. So first thing we need to do is align the spring so that the straight part of the spring versus the bent part of the spring that you can see there goes into this slot of the H piece, and obviously the bent bit goes into this slot of the articulated springy bit, which has probably got a proper name, but we don't know what it is until somebody invents it and tells us what it is. So this one's a little bit tricky and fiddly. You've got to thread this through here and through here, and then we've got to fit a pair of tweezers. We have got to fit, where did I put that spring? There it is. This fellow down in here. If it's going to behave. Come on now. This one's an awkward one. So we need to get this down in here. So that the metal bar, there we go. A little bit tricky, but there we go. And as you can see, that springs up and down, and that flappy bit flaps up and down like so. And that's it for episode 23. That's where we're at. So swiftly moving on to episode 24. We've got a little bit more going on in 24 with the shoulder pad. 2 packets of screws, GM and IP. Big shoulder pad bits and some small plug shaped bits. And then it's just a matter of figuring out which bits go where, as one fits over the other, and it's a little while since we did the last one, so I can't quite remember. But let's have a look. Okay, so we have 24B in this orientation, 24A in this orientation, like so. We then use 24C, which we have 2 of, like this. and these go into they were slotted. Ah, yes, yeah, okay. The internal, these ones are slotted to accept that. Hopefully you can. Let's move that over there. There you go. So this obviously, of course, these fit from the inside, of course, which is why it didn't seem to work. And then we have securing screws for them. So these fit in like so. Okay, right, I'm going to have to do those individually. And then we use 2 GM screws, which are the large ones with the washer head. There are 3 in the packet. So as normal DeAgostini fashion, we get 2 to use and a spare. Fantastic. Okay, so we don't want that too tight because it's got to be articulated and move quite freely. And when you lift and lower the arm, the cover has got to move. Very good. Just double checking I've got the orientation right according to the pictures, which I have. So we now have a shoulder joint. Joining the arm to the body. This is quite straightforward because you have got this bit here with 2 screw holes, this bit here with the locating posts, and making sure we've got that in the correct orientation, which again we do. It fits like this, I believe. And does it fit like this? No. Hang on a moment, we've got that wrong. Okay, it fits like this, I think. Yes. I'm just going to double check that with my other arm down here, and yes, indeed, it does. It fits in this orientation, so the smaller one has these cutout slots, which hopefully you can see down here. Let me zoom this back up. And let's. Okay, I've just adjusted the brightness of that a little bit because it was a little bit dark. So we. Just going back to this, so the little slots that you can see down here face downwards, and the cap, the sort of peaked section of the large outer one, fits this way like so. So this fits like this, and I am guessing wild stab in the dark that we use 2 IP screws, as we have 3 and we've not used any yet. And sure enough, the instructions tell us we need 2 IP screws. So go ahead and fit those and get that on the end of my screwdriver properly. A little bit fiddly this one, because you've got to hold this sprung part in place under tension, but there we go. Marvellous. Get the other screw, and of course we now have one of each spare, which just goes into the little spare bag should you need to replace any of them. And there we have it. There's the shoulder joint, fully articulated. The remaining bits, of course, are these 2 caps. Those I'm going to save until I've absolutely made certain that this tension is perfect and just right after the model's assembled, because unlike something like this, which will come off easily like that, should we need to adjust that, these are not going to come out easily without causing some damage to them. So I'm going to save those to one side, as I did with the other arm, and they will be added once I'm happy with the tension on the arm. Thumb and index finger. DeAg's really kind of eking it out in this one. They are, you know, they're stretching the limits, as it were, giving us individual fingers instead of a whole bunch of fingers all at once. We've got 3 FP screws, we've got 3 CP screws. We have got, let's tip those out. We've got a thumb. I've just got to figure out which bit's which now. That's obviously the thumb. It's the, or is it? Hang on one second. Oh, wait a minute, I'm confused. That's part of the index finger, of course. 25D2L. 25E. Just enjoy this brief intermission while I figure out which bits are which, ladies and gentlemen. Right, bear with me. It transpires I have those packets mixed up. I've obviously got the packets for the next episode. So what we have here is 2 packets of screws. And there we go. The thumb, that's better. It's got a proper ball joint thing. Okay, now we know what we're looking at. No wonder that looked weird and I couldn't make head nor tail of it. That's obviously the thumb, because it's big and chunky, 1L. And this is obviously the finger, because it's the only other 3 bits left. So we need an FP for the thumb, and an FP for the top joint of the finger, and then presumably a CP for the bottom joint of the finger. So 2 of those out, 1 back in, into the bits container. We have got 1 long screw into the thumb joint. Probably a little bit too stiff, so I'm going to slacken that off a little bit. That's not bad. Another long one for the top joint of the index finger. Now I'm guessing we need a CP for this bottom one. We do indeed, and strangely we have got 3 in this bag, not just 2, which is unusual. I don't know why. But hey ho, put that to one side. CP screw for the bottom joint, which is obviously very slightly shorter because this is very slightly thinner. And well, that one wants to escape. It's making a bid for freedom. Come back. There we go. Adjust that a little bit. Excellent. So we've got some movement. So we've got thumb and forefinger. That's that one. And pay attention now, because this is obviously all new and you need to be very, very careful and watch what's going on. We are going on to the next two fingers. So come on, DeAgostini, you could have given us the last three fingers. Good grief. Oh well, what can you do? So we need a 3L. That's a 4L, so that must be a 3L. Yep, so we've got a 3L, a 4L, a 3L, and this must be a 3L. So that's 3L, and this is 4L. If I get them the right way around. Now, much to your utter surprise, I'm sure. Interesting. Okay, so the CP screws, we only got one bag of CP screws. Unless I was missing one, I might have to check the packets just in case. But we only got one bag of CP screws, which does actually give us enough, because that's 2 for the lower finger joints. So exactly like the previous ones, what we do is we assemble these, making sure we've got the right sides up. So the flat sides are the upper side and the curved sides are at the bottom. And then we take an FP screw, a long one, and we simply fasten these joints together as we did with the previous ones. Now, I'm not going to film this and bore you with the same old stuff as you've just watched me do with the other fingers. You know what's happening here, so we will be back momentarily once these are all screwed together. And here we are. That's the end of the build for these 4 episodes. Very simple, quick, straightforward. We have got the bicep cover, the shoulder pad, a thumb and 3 fingers. So we'll move those out of the way and we'll do the obligatory quick flick through the magazines for those of you with a comic book geek interest and wanting to see what's in the magazines. So in episode 23, discover the history of Iron Man. Skin armor, SKIN armor, which is obviously an acronym. Don't know what it means, but hey. So we've got cartoony stuff. We've got Tony Stark looking very, very kind of dubious over here and seriously jacked. I mean, obviously I'm used to seeing Tony Stark in the MCU live action universe. But of course in comic books, people tend to be ridiculously jacked and sort of, you know, super muscular. It's clearly a requirement for being a superhero and often a supervillain. So there's Tony Stark with pipes coming out of him. There's Tony Stark with what looks like a massive arc reactor thing clamped to his chest and looking quite worried, quite concerned. I'm not sure what he's worried or concerned about, but there you go. We've got the buildy bits, which you've seen. We have got War Machine armor crash. So we've got War Machine and Tony Stark pounding each other with metal fists, wearing their appropriate suits. We have got more modern looking War Machine and Iron Man fighting together scenes. So this is obviously something that's happened in the comic book universe as well as the bit we saw in the movie. And we have got some weird sort of goopy stuff going on here, which looks a little bit like the Venom sort of symbiote thing, but presumably is a nanotech suit, is it? I'm guessing. Yes, armour, so it's obviously like the nanotech kind of stuff. We've got a weird looking suit here, which I'm assuming is the SKIN skin armour. Yeah, it says it up there, obviously. And that's the end of that one. Episode 24, we have got the tin armour, which doesn't sound particularly impressive, does it? Let's say tin. There you go. So, there we go. We've got some cartoony stuff. We've got some funky looking armour. I've got to say, I always thought the vast array of armour was something, not being a huge comic book fan, I always thought the vast array of armour was something that happened in the movies to kind of keep it interesting, because, you know, this constant search for perfection and upgrading. But no, it seems that this was indeed a definite comic book theme of upgrading and making different armours for different purposes. Buildy bits we've seen, we know what's going on there. Justin Hammer, we've got some Justin Hammer stuff who, I don't know if this is Justin Hammer, but he looks strangely like Peter Cushing, don't you think? You know, you could just sort of picture him aboard the Death Star or in a Hammer horror movie. Yes, very Peter Cushing. A poisoned chalice. So, yes, there we go. Oh yeah, there's definite Peter Cushing vibes there. Tin Man armour, if only he had a heart. I'm not sure what that's all about. Presumably some kind of story arc in one of the comic books with this particular special armour. And that's the end of that one. In episode 25, we've got cartoony Stark, looking a bit more Howard Stark than Tony Stark, according to the books, of course. A strange looking, almost anime-esque kind of cover up here. And at some point I will actually sit down and read through all of these, because it's I'd be interested to get a bit of get to grips with some of the comic book stuff. As I say, not having been a comic book reader really, but I do love the movies. Buildy bits. Iron Authors, The Marvel Legacy. So, okay, this is obviously about something about the history of the whole thing. And we've got a Deadpool cover there. It was quite cool looking. Yeah, very good. Some more funky looking armour with ridiculous shoulder pads. Damn, that could have been in Dynasty or something. That's crazy. Okay, what's this one? Black Panther, kind of. Stealth 2 armour. The armour is revealed on the last page of Black Panther, Volume 344. There we go, stealth armour. Quite like the sound of that. That sounds cool. That would have been a good thing in the films, I think. Some nice, cool stealth cloaking type stuff going on. Prometheus armour with some weird, big sort of pipes sticking up the back of the armour. I'm not sure what that's all about, and some strange sort of cordage going on, like big sort of cords of muscle. It's very unusual. I'm not sure what that's all about. Are these exhaust pipes? Is this like a custom hot rod thing? I don't know. And in here we've got a crazy super jacked Hulk. Wow, that's massive. What's going on there? That's the most ridiculously large Hulk I've ever seen. And we've got this weird armour with these big pipes. I'm really not sure what these pipes are all about. What is going on? Iron Man and Rebel fly to Russia in Iron Man Volume 210 by Jeff Loeb and Terry Shoemaker. Okay, I'm not sure who Rebel is. Is that kind of like a War Machine thing? If you're out there and you know, please say. Pop a thing in the comments. Tell me. Down here. That's where the comments are. Some more cartoony stuff. Doctor Doom there. Buildy. We've seen Go West, West Coast Avengers. So we've got Hawkeye in the classic comic book outfit, which frankly is a bit ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, there's no way they'd have gotten away with that in the movies. Avengers West Coast. And classic Iron Man looking thing. Hawkeye again up here. I sing of arms and heroes. And more cartoony. Prometheus armour, a radical change. And okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to read about that, see what that's all about with these weird big funnel exhaust pipes up the back. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah, that's some Hulk. That's like gigantic Hulk. Don't know what that's all about, but wow, that's how does trousers even fit him still? I mean, come on, even like your regular screen Hulk, how do the trousers still fit him? But good grief, you know, you're going to like big and tall stores in between changes. What is going on there? Anyway, that is the end of episode 26. So that's magazines 23, 24, 25, 26. That's this month's built for you. And we will see you all again with the next delivery. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you later. See you in the next one.